Broadcasting live from the plains of Kaladesh, Amonkhet, and Ixalan, this is Tap Tap Concede. Welcome. Graham here.
Cameron here.
Ben here.
And we're talking 2017 in Magic. That was the first set in 2017 was Aether Revolt. Right?
Really?
Doesn't that feel like forever ago?
Yeah.
January 2017 was 17 years ago.
I remember, it was either Aether Revolt or Kaladesh, but we drafted a box of it on our way back from PAX or something like that.
Yeah.
And we were like, man, remember the days?
Yeah,
the plane of Kaladesh? It was forever ago.
That was 11 months ago.
Yeah.
I remember being like, oh, I miss this format. I remember this format. And everyone's like, ah, yes, the hazy days of yore.
Yeah, energy, that quaint old,
Yeah.
old mechanic.
So yeah, we're gonna sort of chronologically go through the year and sort of do like a rundown of everything that came out Magic-wise this year. Spoilers, it's a lot. And just give a couple thoughts on each thing if we have them. I don't know how many people played Dual Decks, Mind versus Might, but that's on the list. But first, let's roll the dice and crack a pack.
All right.
What you got?
20!
I don't know if we have a thing for that.
Do we just get to pick one? It's a crit.
I know.
Yeah, wow, Ben.
Pick
Filmed
the
it out.
Yu-Gi-Oh pack.
No, that's if we roll a 1.
Can we just pick Eternal Masters or
Something spicy.
yeah, something picante?
Urza's Destiny.
Oh, dang.
Okay.
We could just windmill that one. Yeah, I don't think we had anything set aside at this point.
Oh, dang.
We ruined it.
Whoops. Too good at rolling.
There's so many packs in here that are totally legitimate.
Yeah. Yeah.
That is a copy of C23.
Do we,
That is not Magic the Gathering.
maybe in flavor, do we want to pick our favorite set of the year? And see if we have it.
What's your favorite set of the year, though?
Right, Eldritch Moon didn't come out this year.
No.
No.
It was Aether Revolt, Amonkhet, Hour of Devastation, and Ixalan, if you're looking for regular sets.
I really liked Amonkhet, but I don't know if that's exciting.
Actually, hang on. Where's... This is the whole show now.
Yeah.
It's just...
Yeah, just us picking a pack.
Do we have a Modern Masters
Modern Masters 3?
2017?
We
It
must.
says 2017 right in it.
Oh.
Star Trek? Why?
Why you do this to us? I swore.
Ah, here we go.
Okay.
Great.
Yeah, perfect.
All right, 2017. We'll do the one with 2017. Then.
There we go.
Modern Masters 2017. This was from Keep Up the Amazing Work. Oh no, it came with a note. This says Keep Up the Amazing Work from Joe at GP Vegas. Thank you, Joe.
Thanks, Joe.
Blah, 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 blah.
All right,
All
this
right.
set was super fun.
Yeah. First up, Dimir Guildgate.
Best colors in the set.
Guildgates are always good. They're they're sort of like the necessary mana fixing.
They're high up on the pick list for sure.
I remember when these were spoiled, I was like, why are they putting in guild gates instead of the cons, common duels? It seems strange to me. And then part of my brain is like, it's the Ravnica block modern.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're. Did they put Maze's End in here?
I don't think so.
Oh,
no.
okay,
No.
that would have been hot.
No. Augur Spree.
Yeah.
When you gotta have removal.
Choice
Yep.
removal.
One black. Sorry, Dimir Guildgate comes in taps and taps for black and blue. Sorry. Augur Spree. One black red instant. Target creature gets +4, -4. So generally speaking, this is going to kill something. In some rare circumstances, you could buff a creature for lethal if you really had to.
Yeah, you just get in with your hover barrier, just
Yeah,
get someone.
that's the
I
thing,
guess I don't know.
With Augur Spree, it was not really any Rakdos creatures that you were buffing, because most of them were high power, low toughness
Yeah, it's
creatures. So,
It's I guess Rakdos himself.
Yeah.
Seal of Primordium, the naturalize on layaway. It's 1 and a green for an enchantment, and then when you can sack it whenever you want to destroy target artifact or enchantment. The seal is very an interesting cycle. Dregscape Zombie. It's a piker, 2 and a 1 for a 2/1 for 1 and a black. but it also has Unearth.
My favorite mechanic
for
in
one.
this.
Unearth is sweet. It's you pay the Unearth cost, in this case 1 black. Return it from the battlefield. Return it from the graveyard to the battlefield. It gains haste, and you exile it at the beginning of the next end step. But you can only do that as a sorcery. Yeah, Unearth was actually pretty cool.
Yeah,
The whole
this is
deck,
an
like,
excellent
it
mechanic.
was super spicy.
Gift of Orzhova. One Orzhov. Where's the? There we go. One. Yeah, so 3 mana. 1 Orzhov for an aura. Enchant creature gets +1/+1 and flying and lifelink. Oh,
Yeah.
oh. This art was my desktop background for many years.
I was going to comment on that, actually. I remember this being...
Those stained glass wings.
Yeah, the high res of this is gorgeous.
Speaking of fixing, Shimmering Grotto. It's fine.
Yay, filter
It's
layers.
when you absolutely, positively have to hit your 4th color.
Oh, there it is.
Here?
No, it's got it.
Okay, card reader's having some trouble with Shimmering Grotto. Taps are colorless, but you can pay 1 into it and tap it to add 1 of any color.
It's not that shimmering.
Dynacharge.
Yeah.
Single red mana to give a creature +1. Sorry, to give 1 creature +2/+0 until end of turn. But you can overload it for 2 and a red to give all of your creatures +2/+0 until end of turn.
This was a sick win con.
Or technically, it's replace target with each.
Yeah.
Just strictly better than Trumpet Blast.
Yeah.
Feels better than Trumpet Blast, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, no, definitely, because
It is
you have
actually
the choice. Yeah.
because it's only your creatures, because you rarely want to give your opponent's creatures a buff. But Trumpet Blast notably only hits attacking creatures, which you remember if you've ever been like, all right,
All right, on defense.
or when you're like, all right, first main phase, Trumpet Blast, go to combat, attack, and realize that none of your creatures get buffed.
Yeah.
Attended Knight. 2 and a white for a 2/2 with first strike, and it comes with a 1/1. I like Attended Knight a lot.
Yeah, this was great in the,
The populate deck.
Rewind. 2 blue for counter target spell. It's an instant. Sorry, 2 blue instant counter target spell. Untap 4 lands, so it's free. Just like Force of Will.
It's
Well, to be fair, it lets you counter a spell, and also do something on your end step, on their end step.
Yep.
Which is pretty good.
I actually really like this
I
because
got by this a couple times in this format.
Few things though feel worse than having somebody rewind your rewind.
And those lands don't untap.
Yeah.
oh no.
Sundering Growth is 2 Selesnya mana for an instant. Destroy target artifact or enchantment. Bonus. Then you populate.
This I remember this being shockingly good.
I don't think it came up a lot in
This set.
this format.
But in Ravnica.
Return to Ravnica was pretty alright.
Well, this one is okay because is it the sigils or the signets that are in? One of the two is in here, and it felt really good, like to just like host somebody's mana base and stuff like
yeah,
that.
get
like
their
blowing up
mana
signet
rock.
or something.
Yeah.
Arcane Sanctum. Here's your triple lands. These are the shards lands. So enters the battlefield tapped. Tap to add blue, white, or black to your mana pool.
Play 17 of these if I could.
Terminate.
Yeah.
Yep.
Sorry, Sun Titan, you got owned. It's a black and a red for an instant. Destroy target creature. It can't be regenerated.
Oh man, the flavor text on this is also hateful.
Yeah.
All suns must
All
set.
suns must set.
Well,
'cause
this
Sun
was-
Titan's getting destroyed.
This was one of the move downs, right? Like this.
Yeah, this used to be rare.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wait, did it? No.
No.
Dreadbore.
Dreadbore.
Dreadbore, right? Yeah.
Yeah, because this
No,
was
Terminate
printed
always
in
in shards.
yeah.
In fact, it might have.
It might have been common.
I think it was
actually.
common.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
premium
okay.
removal used to turn up at Doomblade used to be common.
True.
Abyssal Spectre. 2 black for a 2/3 with flying. Whenever Abyssal Spectre deals damage to a player, that player discards a card. Good old Spectre.
Yep. One extra mana for 1 extra toughness.
We have a foil Madcap Skills. I don't know that anyone ever went off with Madcap Skills in Modern Masters, but I would love to see it. I've only just now noticed the woman on the left who's like kind of sassily into it.
Yeah.
I think she's like, all right, sure, let's see this guy dome himself.
Yeah.
I like too that this is like the oracled version, right? Because Madcap Skills didn't used to have.
Oh,
the-
yeah,
Didn't
yeah,
used to have
yeah.
menace, yeah. It used to be cannot be blocked except by 2 or more
Yeah,
creatures.
because it didn't have the name for the mechanic back then.
I like to assume that one of those creatures is going, ooh.
Have a centaur token, and then our rare is Fiery Justice.
What?
Casts for red, green, white as a sorcery, deals 5 damage divided as you choose among any number of target creatures and/or players, and target opponent gains 5 life.
What?
So, I mean, well, this card's interesting, right? Because
Yeah.
there were 2, like, it falls into 2 of the archetypes that were in this, because there was the red-green beat up face deck, and then there was the green-white populate one. Was there really a Boros one?
There's always a Boros.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can make Boros happen, but
Yeah.
so it was just like this card was kind of like I think I played with it maybe once or twice drafting it, just because like I would be in one of those 2, and then I'd just be like, I can splash red or I can splash white in this for this card because it's sick. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I guess like them gaining 5 sucks, but I guess if you
Oh,
get to-
target opponent. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. But
Yeah.
but I guess if you get to kill 2 creatures, you're probably okay with it.
this thing hurts the green-white populate deck,
Yeah.
but it's yeah.
I feel bad. Like
I
I
forgot
feel
about that
like I'd
last-
open this as
I
a
was
rare
wondering
and
about
be
that,
like,
yeah.
I thought it was that you gain.
No.
It's been a while.
I'd
never-
open this
I
as a
never
rare in
saw-
pack 1 and be like, oh, gonna be one of those drafts.
Yeah, let's see what we got in the terminate. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Turn.
Honestly though, if since we're here, my first pick probably terminate.
Yeah.
Or-
Terminate's
I mean,
real
it
hard
puts
to
you
say
in-
no to.
Puts you in 2 colors right away, but maybe you can get Augur Spree back and just have all the removal.
Yeah,
Like,
I think I would
Spectre,
probably.
maybe Sanctum.
I'm usually on team pick up the triple land first.
Yeah,
'cause
I
there's
think
a very
Arcane
high
Sanctum
chance
is,
you're gonna be
like-
maybe in one of those 2 colors.
Well, also because like the Dinrova horror deck was
Oh,
just
right.
oppressive.
Yeah,
Let's
right.
come back to that when we talk about Modern Masters.
Yeah.
For
So,
sure.
Hey, let's draft Modern Master 17. I don't feel like playing against 3 failed Dinrova horror decks for the next 3 hours.
Yeah.
So yeah, January 14th, 2017, Aether Revolt. I quite liked Aether Revolt.
I think I preferred Triple Kaladesh better, which colored my impressions of Aether Revolt. But the mechanics were all really solid. It just diluted my ability to pick up the 14 Puzzle Knot deck that did nothing.
I mean, and that's why they're changing. Something else they announced this year is that they were changing how sets are done and how drafting works. And so rather than doing the big set, small set, and then having this diluted draft environment, everything's going to be big sets and everything's going to be triple drafting. In fact, I think Rivals. I think this coming January, Rivals of Ixalan is the last small set.
Right, right.
Yeah. I
believe.
Yes, yeah, and Dominaria is going to be, yeah.
Triple, just
Yeah.
in one kind of thing, which
So-
is really, really nice.
Yeah, I actually, I say actually as if I'm disagreeing with you. I agree with you. I liked it better. I thought that Aether Revolt draft also had a lot of interesting things going on its own. It just, I mean, so it's always the thing where you don't get to do the thing that you got to do in the previous draft.
Yeah.
But I liked the things that you did get to do in the new draft format.
Yeah, that's totally fair.
I'm trying to remember exactly what those were because it feels like it was, as you said, like 17 years ago.
I mean,
Do
I'm
you have the visual spoiler?
Yes, yeah.
I'm a
I was
fa-
like, what was actually in this set? And
well, like Revolt was the mechanic that immediately springs to mind.
yeah,
Oh, right, of course.
Yeah, right. So that was huge.
And I was fond of that because I like sacrifice strategies. Right? So Revolt made that.
There was really interesting
Rewarding.
ways that you could get Revolt
Yes,
going.
because it had like the Renegade map,
Yep.
which was an easy way to trigger Revolt and maybe fix your mana. But there were other ways too, like making really aggressive attacks worked out well for Revolt.
Yeah,
you
well,
never, like I remember Revolt made getting a read on your opponents very tricky.
Right, this was because the joke was in Aether Revolt, blocking was bad. Right, that you wanted to just take the damage because if you blocked, you might
Trigger
kill your
Revolt.
opponent's creatures and trigger Revolt and make it worse for you. And we'll get to it, but then Amonkhet came along and it was like, okay, now blocking is really bad.
Yeah.
now nobody blocks.
I mean, ain't nobody blocking in 2017.
Yeah.
like that was kind of the thing though, right? And people used that kind of knowledge to their advantage, right? Because it was just like, even if they didn't like have anything to even trigger Revolt in hand, they'd be like, they're probably gonna think I'm gonna make this very stupid attack and it's gonna be fine.
Oh yeah, Ridge Scale Tusker. Sorry, I just remembered my favorite mythic uncommon from the set. It's the 5 mana. It's 3 green for a big old beast, but when it enters the battlefield, for a 5/5.
Yeah,
So 5 mana
right,
5/5
yeah.
for a very angry pangolin, and you put a +1/+1 counter on every other creature you control.
Yeah.
Because there was the whole the like counters. Was the
With like Rishkar and
Yes.
Yeah.
It was Winding Constrictor. If
Yes.
that's what
Yeah,
you're wondering.
Winding
The
Constrictor
best
was in the
card.
set.
right, yeah, the best card. Yeah.
The cycle of the thriving grubs and the thriving cycle, the thriving
Yeah.
rhino.
Yeah, they got a
that,
lot.
That was in Kaladesh, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. This one had the ones that when the 2 drops that you come in and they give you 2 energy, and then when you attack with them, you can spend an energy to make a servo. So it
Right,
had like
yes,
the
yes,
chase,
yes,
the one
yes.
with like first strike, the one with death touch.
Yeah,
Right.
the Stormcrow version of it.
Yeah.
Ether Swooper.
Ether Swooper.
There was a
Yeah.
lot of really good cards in this set, actually,
was-
now that I'm looking back on it.
It was a good set. Like, I mean, a lot of the cards that came out of this one are there. I think there's more cards used from Aether Revolt in things like Standard than there are from Kaladesh. I mean, because like you look at it, even just like the big name ones, right? Because
Oh.
you had Aether Sphere Harvester and Heart of Kirin.
Yeah.
Rogue Refiner.
Yeah, Rogue Refiner.
Rogue Refiner.
The card that's
Standard All-Star.
The card that should be a 1/1 but isn't?
Yeah, Rogue Refiner's a 3/2.
Why? That's like I looked at that power and toughness and had the exact same feel I had when I realized Library of Alexandria also makes mana.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, you can tap Library of Alexandria for colorless.
Whap.
For reasons.
You know, I wouldn't have thought that you could have. But yeah, Rogue Refiner, as a reminder, I guess, because for the benefit of those keeping score at home, I should have been reading some of these out. But 1 green-blue for a 3/2 human rogue. When it enters the battlefield, you draw a card and you get 2 energy. I'll repeat that. It's a 3/2 for 3. You draw a card and get 2 energy.
Yeah.
The all singing, all dancing, all refining Rogue Refiner.
SMH.
Yeah.
If we're talking like just like good uncommons, I have to give it out to Gifted Aetherborn. It's just like it's
Oh, yeah.
it's
Oh,
nothing
yeah.
fancy, but it's your black 2/3 death touch lifelink.
Yeah, never pass the
Vampire
gifted.
Nightwalk?
Like,
Yeah.
It's this guy just comes down and you're like, oh.
Well, and this card was really cool because they printed a lot more Aetherborn, including like because this was also the cycle where they introduced all like the leaders, of,
Right,
Like the
yes,
colors,
yes,
right? So like
yeah.
SRAM and
Brawl and-
Yahenni,
Yeah.
who is like, I would actually say Yahenni is probably my favorite card from this set because like it's
Yeah,
just,
they're great.
Yeah, they're just awesome. But then they added like the Aetherborn synergy with what is it, Midnight Entourage,
Yes.
where it's like you could try and build your Aetherborn tribal.
I like also the expertise cycle.
Oh yes, the
Yeah.
expertise cycle was really sweet.
What an interesting mechanic.
I think the best one was probably Baral's.
The bounce 3
Bounce 3.
Like in limited.
Yes.
Very strong, though Yahenni's expertise being
Was
able to like board
board
wipe
wipe
and play a creature.
reestablish
Yeah.
was
But
like
one-
I run Yahenni's in Highlander,
Yeah.
which is actually probably wrong in my deck, but the effect is really good.
I mean, you're playing you're playing aristocrats, right?
Yeah.
So-
Although like the other one I run in my deck is what's her name's expertise,
Oh, Carrie Zevs.
Carrie Zev's expertise,
Nice.
which
to
is
steal a thing.
unreal in Highlander
Nice.
aristocrats.
Yeah. I honestly like all of
Oh
these are
wow, yeah. Okay, Carrie Zev's expertise is 1 red for basically an active treason. Gain control of target creature or vehicle until end of turn. Untap it, it gains haste. Then you may cast a card with converted mana cost 2 or less from your hand without paying its mana cost.
Yep.
like
So take their thing, sack their thing. Well, take
Yeah.
their thing, hit them with their thing, sack their thing. Also, you get to play another thing.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like all of these, the expertise cycle I think was good. Like SRAMs was like fine. Like you get to put out 3 1/1 servos,
Yep.
which is really good in the deck that would be running. But honestly, like the one that felt like the worst to see played in the deck that would be good with it was Rishkar's expertise.
Yeah, Rishkar's expertise, you knew the end was coming soon.
Yeah, like if you're playing limited, because like by the time Rishkar's expertise comes out, typically you guys are both maybe like 2 or 3 cards in hand, kind of a thing.
Yeah.
You're kind of seeing who top decks the best. So
Yeah,
like,
you run.
green. Yeah, sorry. 4 green sorcery. Draw cards equal to the greatest power among creatures you control, and then you get to play a spell of CMC 5 or less for free.
yeah.
I mean, like the only thing wrong with this card is those clauses are in the wrong order, so you can't cast this to put Pangolin on the field,
Right,
And then
yeah.
draw 5 off it, right? Like you have to curve Ridge Scale Tusker into this, and that's you're like, oh,
it's so good though.
Yeah.
now I have to just cast this 4-drop for free.
Now I'd have to cast this draw 5.
Yeah.
So yeah, Aether Revolt was lots of fun. We
Yeah.
could talk about Aether Revolt, our memories of it for a whole podcast, but I just realized there's a whole year still
Yeah,
to
we
go.
gotta
So
go.
because right after that, I didn't write the date down. March. It was mid-March. Modern Masters 2017, which we just looked at a set of, and yeah, I guess it was.
It wound up being kind of solved.
Yeah, rather quickly too. Like it was good, but yeah, like Cam said, 2 words: Dinrova horror.
Putting that thing at common may have been an error.
The black blue control deck was very hard to deal with.
Well, the problem. So Dinrova horror, as a reminder, it's from Return to Ravnica block. It's actually from Gatecrash, I think. 4 blue black for a 4/4. So 6 mana 4/4. When it enters the battlefield, return target permanent, usually creature, but permanent, to its owner's hand. Then that player discards a card. So it's mana war, and you discard. If they don't have any cards in their hand, then they discard that card. On its own, is like pretty good.
Yeah.
Like it's a very good. It's like it's a solid card on its own. You get a 4/4. You get to tempo them out. You get to make them pitch something. But in this format, there were just so many ways to recur it. Like there was blink effects, and like just bouncing and recasting it. That it was a real pain in the ass.
Yep.
That's the thing, right? Because it's like this, like Dinrova Horror is like in Dimir,
Yeah.
right? But then like they had the blue-white flicker
Yep.
deck in this, right? So
You could
and it
just
was
be all 3 of those. You could just splash for the horrors or splash for the blink effects, like literal momentary blink, right?
Yeah, well, you like looking at like the pack we just pulled, right? I would go, yep, Arcane Sanctum because Dinrova Horror is in this set,
Yep.
and I'm gonna definitely want to do some Esper Blink shenanigans,
Yeah.
right? Like,
And the other thing I think that may have really like, well, maybe the 2 chase mythics in this set were Liliana of the Veil and Snapcaster, right?
yeah. Like,
So I
and
think that
there
may
was-
have
there is a
encouraged people to
Tarmogoyf,
pick
but-
these at higher, just in case, like to hedge into maybe opening and playing those cards, right?
Yeah.
But oh yeah,
Yeah,
show
I
me
mean-
a deck where a blue-black control deck is, or a format where a blue-black control deck is dominant, and I'm pretty happy. But man, do we need to dunk on them? I don't know.
I mean, as good as it was, I did shocking. Like, I don't know how it happened, but at least on Midgo, I played a lot of hoof decks.
I remember you playing those hoof
Yeah,
decks. I
yeah.
remember you having Space Jam.
Yeah,
queued up.
Space Jam always queued up and ready. I just like it's my favorite way to win. I love Crater Hoof. It's like definitely one of my favorite cards.
We definitely hoofed a couple people in when we were drafting this online. It was. It's a good feel. Was
Yeah.
Tooth and Nail in this set?
Maybe. I mean, that might have been
I'm trying to
the.
remember how we hoofed people. I'm thinking I might be conflating it with the times we've done that in Cube.
Well, yeah.
I think I'm confusing it with other times I
cube.
was a monster.
No, but there was like
Okay.
a lot of ramp. Like you had like Explorer and like all the mana dorks. Yeah. Yeah, it was just like a lot of like ramp because you also had like Domri and
Oh
stuff like
right,
that.
I just remembered. So some 2 like really splashy cards. Cruel Ultimatum was rough. I definitely lost a game to getting Cruel Ultimatum, and then they Snapcastered their Cruel Ultimatum.
Ooh.
That sucked. Ghost Council.
Right.
Oh, at Rare. Ghost Council at Rare.
Yeah, that I think was also a mistake. That was less prevalent because it wasn't a common. But
Yeah.
there was actually like not any No,
Oh, no, not this Ghost
Sorry,
Council. It's
sorry,
Obsidat.
good one.
Obsidat.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Obsidat at Rare was
Obsidat, comma, Ghost Council, I guess
it
is what it is.
it made it common enough that you were basically guaranteed to see it.
And there's actually like, so Obsidat Ghost Council, 1 white, white, black, black for a 5/5. Okay. When it enters the battlefield, target opponent loses 2 life and you gain 2 life. That's a great start. Then at the beginning of your end step, you may exile Obsidat. If you do, return to the battlefield under its owner's control at the beginning of your next upkeep. It gains haste. So every turn you got to have Obsidat come in, drain for 2, attack if you wanted to, and then leave again. So it could only be hit by instant speed removal. And there just wasn't a lot of that. Like, the set did not have a huge amount. An individual deck had very little.
Yeah, you couldn't, like, pacifism effects, this thing just laughed at. Right?
Yeah,
like,
you couldn't wrath it, anything sorcery speed. Like, your only hope was to, like, finally draw a counter spell and get it on, like, one of the... It didn't actually counter it.
No, yeah.
You had to, like, bounce it. Basically, if they resolved Obsidat, you were probably just going to die to it.
Yeah, like things that deal with it. I'm looking. You had like Grizzly Spectacle.
Yep. Grizzly Spectacle more than a couple.
Because there is like a lot of removal, like because there's like Bone Splinters and
Sorcery.
Damnation and stuff, but it's sorcery, right? Yeah, like
Obsidat.
nothing in red really. I guess Thunderous Wrath if you can hard cast it without miracle.
It's weird. Like I've had someone go off with the Dinrova horror, and I was like, wow, this is amazing. You know, I've just been like, man, I'm really getting my ass kicked here, and this is terrific.
Right.
You know, like it doesn't feel amazing, but it's like, wow, look at all the things that are going on.
Yeah.
And then I've lost to Obsidat, where it's like, this sucks. I'm just sitting here dying.
Yeah.
And there's nothing I can do. And it's not that my opponent
has put together an incredible machine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's the thing. Like I can respect the, like, you know, play this, blink it, do this, bounce it, you know, like, and just like attrition me out. But this is like I put Obsidat in my deck. I splashed double white for Obsidat.
Yeah.
Which you would do.
I absolutely would.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know that Modern Masters 2017 was as had the staying power of other Masters modern times, but it wasn't terrible.
I feel like the Obsidian Ghost Council does really well embody the spirit of the Orzhov, just kind of like the mundane, boring, just destroying your life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And draining it, and in not a flashy way,
Yeah.
but just
Yeah.
a consistently draining.
Yeah, yeah. It's like, you know,
Demoralizing.
you're on Ravnica and it's your 40th birthday, and you look at your accounts and realize that the student loan you took out through the Orzhova, you've paid more on than its value in interest.
Yeah.
And you're just like,
Yeah, you get the every year you get the bill that it's like, this is what your loan was at the beginning of the year. You paid this much. This is what it is now.
and it's gone up by like,
Yeah, it's gone up a little bit.
yeah, by like $6, right?
March 31st, Joyra of the Gitu versus Lovisa Cold Eyes.
Ooh.
It's Dual Decks Mind versus Might.
Cool.
Anybody play the Dual Decks?
Mainly, I know about this because it had a bunch of reprints that were relevant for the modern Storm deck.
Oh.
Gift Storm. It had like a bunch of the rituals and stuff in it that were.
Lovisa Cold Eyes, by the way, the new art looks amazing. I don't recall. It's 3 red for a 3/3 human. Each creature that is a barbarian, a warrior, or a berserker gets +2/+2 and haste. I kind of want to build that commander deck now.
I mean, she became the barbarian commander deck leader, basically. If you were going like mono red for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't.
Dual decks.
We don't really play with dual decks.
Yeah, no.
And they're actually done.
Yeah, this
now.
is the last one.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're the goblins and merfolk.
Goblin and Merfolk, yeah.
Yeah, they're done making them, but they're moving on to a different thing, which is like
Which is not a Gavin Verhey was talking about this in the subreddit. He's like the new things, which I don't recall the name of.
It's like the starter kits.
He's
or
like,
whatever.
no, it's something different. Challenge decks.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's like, challenge decks are not replacing dual decks. Like, yes, we are stopping the dual decks, and like the last dual deck comes out, and then the first challenge deck comes out. But they're not. It's not a one-to-one.
Right.
Yeah, they're
replacing.
two separate endeavors.
We do not internally consider these a replacement for the dual decks, even though there's,
Even though they're kind of taking up the same peg on your LGS
Like
as well.
look at it, and it's each in its own sort of business sense kind of thing. It's like dual decks just.
we should play some of these dual decks on stream.
I'd agree. Yeah, I think it'd be goofy. Like I always found, like the last dual deck I think I played was like the Zendikar one, where it was like Eldrazi versus Zendikar.
Yeah.
And it was okay. Like I felt like the Zendikar one just like destroyed Eldrazi every time I played it with my friends, but yeah, like they were all right.
I remember the dual decks having some like not amazing reprints, but some pretty cool ones.
Well,
like the Is It versus Golgari one had like Life from the Loam, and that was sweet to play with.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
In kind of like a non-degenerate environment.
I think because is that like is it the one that we've got
The
like,
dual
on the
deck
shelves?
anthology.
Yeah.
We ever since we got that, which was like 2 years ago now, we've been saying that we should stream like a bracket of that. Maybe now we're doing streaming weekly paper magic. Maybe we can.
Because that one's got the power in it. Because the Jace, well, not power, but the Jace's one has like Gush and Ancestral Recall and stuff like that in it, which is like pretty sweet cards.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So say
Or
the
visions, surely. Surely
Ancestral
ancestral
visions.
Visions, yes. Sorry, not Ancestral Recall.
the dual decks
One vision.
does have the sweet blood weird intimidator.
Oh, Polar Intimidator, yeah. Cowards can't block warriors. April 22nd, Amonkhet. Yes. We go to magical Egypt land.
I love it. I loved this set.
Yeah, this was very cool.
The thing that sticks with me most from this set is still the trailer, where it had like the chanting. Basically like the trials starting, and they had this song, and one of the lines was "by force of will." And I was like, I should do that. Right. By force of will.
This set was sweet, man.
Yeah.
You brought back zombies to where I wanted them to be.
Yeah, Embalm was super cool.
Yep.
I mean, and then I, as a big fan of like Theros and stuff like that, it gave us gods again, added out, and now there's like I think 36 gods in
Really?
Magic. There's something like that. Yeah, like there's a lot.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
we
'cause, I
got
mean,
we got 5 gods here. There was
There were 15 gods in Theros, the
Yeah.
10 demigods and the 5 gods.
and then there's 5 here.
Yeah.
And then 3 more.
I can't see your scarf.
Oh.
The limited was super fun. It was now, granted, we were talking earlier about the now blocking is bad, but it was interesting. It was interesting and different, and there was a lot to do in this draft format, which is not as true of later formats that we'll get to.
Yeah.
Did they? Yeah, because Afflict wasn't until next one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but still, like this
Afflict
one.
was our devastation. So this had the mechanics in Amonkhet was the embalm, where when a creature dies, you can pay the embalm cost and bring back basically a copy, but it's also a white zombie, which I just love the flavor of that. What were the other mechanics? There was the cycling.
Oh yeah, cycling. being
Cycling was back.
Yeah.
Cycling was so much fun. And so there was all the cycling matters cards like Drake Haven and all that. And then Exert. Exert was really interesting.
I loved Exert. I think it was super cool.
Yeah, it was an interesting decision to have to make because frequently you did exert, but sometimes you didn't.
Yeah.
They also had the trial and cartouche cycles in this too, which were very, very neat.
Cartouche of Strength was a beating.
And then you can play the trial to get it back and
Yep.
play it again. Or no, sorry, other way around.
Yes.
You play the trial and you play a cartouche to get it back, right? Yes, yeah. So, like Trial of Zeal was just like,
Oh yeah.
you do that and then you play a cartouche and get it back kind of a thing. Yeah, this set was super, super cool. I mean, it brought in the whole idea of -1/-1 counters back into the limited format too. right? So
Yeah, there was that crocodile at Uncommon.
Oh, Baleful Emmet.
and Scaled Behemoth.
Well, the Scale Behemoth was the hexproof one
Yes,
that I died
sorry,
to
yeah.
horribly.
Oh, Scale Behemoth, yeah.
But there was also another one that was just like a 4/4.
Oh, Crocodile of the Crossing.
Yeah, and if
5/4.
and if anything had a -1/-1 counter on it, wasn't it?
No, so.
Oh,
wait.
you're thinking of Voracious?
There's one that buffed if your opponent
I think that's
how did
from...
it even work?
Okay.
Because this is classic because I looked at this card and was like, because I misread it, and now I can't remember what the actual text is on it.
So Crocodile of the Crossing was the haste one.
Yeah, 5/4
the one
with
the one
haste
that you're thinking of.
Hang on, let me just,
Yeah,
because there's
sorry.
more to that. So, Crocodile of the Crossing, 5/4 for 4 with haste, and you put a +1/+1 counter on a creature you control. So, you can put it on itself and have a 4/3 with haste, which is still crazy good, or you can load it up on a Dune Beetle
Yeah,
and
poor Dune Beetles.
get this 5/4.
Yeah, and the one that you're thinking of is from Hour of Devastation, Tenacious Hunter.
Oh, it's actually from the next set. Yeah.
The 4/4 that it's 2 green and green for a 4/4 as long as a creature has a -1/- as long as a creature, yours
creature.
or your opponent's, has a -1/-1 counter on it. Tenacious Hunter has Vigilance and Death Touch.
Yeah, that was my boy.
Yeah.
That was the one I was thinking of.
I think it was an Amonkhet Decimator Beetle? Or was that?
Oh yes, the Golgari
Yeah.
one, right?
Yeah, it must have been in this one because the Hour of
So
Devastation
cards
one
aren't
was
actually
the Obelisk Spider.
Right. Decimator Beetle was really, really interesting. It was a 5/4 for 5, and sorry, a 4/5. I was getting confused with the Crocodile of the Crossing. It's a 4/5 for 5. When it enters the battlefield, you put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control. This was this like -1/-1 counter. I'm really misspeaking today. That was the mechanic in sort of the Golgari creatures was like we're gonna give you a more powerful creature, but something on your side is gonna get worse.
Yep.
Because you have at least this creature. So the counter's going somewhere. Whenever Decimator Beetle attacks, remove a -1/-1 counter from a creature you control and put a -1/-1 counter on up to 1 target creature defending player controls.
Yeah, this guy was a hammering.
What's super interesting about that ability is that you're not taking one off of your creature and putting it on their creature. Those are separate clauses. Your creatures do not have to have counters, right? You can remove, it's like, oh, I have no counters to remove. Still going to put one on your creature. I had someone on Magic Online be like, oh, that's bugged. And I'm like, no, that's actually just how that works.
Yeah.
Sorry. I had 2 Decimator Beetles
Oh,
in that
impossible
deck.
to block, really.
You ever attacked someone with 2 Decimator Beetles at the same time? You feel like a god.
This beetle can kill gods.
Yeah.
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 It can.
Indestructible gods.
You just make them tiny and tiny and tiny.
We actually forgot one
You
mechanic.
just stop believing in them until they go away.
We actually thought of
split
a mechanic.
cards. Aftermath.
Ooh, right.
Aftermath was really interesting.
Yeah, so I mean, I think the best Aftermath card that still kind of saw a lot of play. Well, there's 2. Well, the first one was Never to. Is it 2?
2.
Yeah,
Never
Never
to
to Return.
Right.
Which is it starts off as a 1/black destroy target. Destroy target creature or planeswalker. So people were a little disappointed that this wasn't Hero's Downfall because it was at sorcery.
Fair.
But it
It's
still saw a lot of play.
It's still Ruinous Path.
And then and then Aftermath, how it works is you can cast this card from your graveyard, then exile it. And it was kind of cool because you can put them sideways so you can remember. And you can for a 3 and a black, you can exile target creature card from a exile target creature card from a graveyard, and then you get to create a 2/2 black zombie creature.
Which is like it's not a crazy big effect, but it's 2 cards
Yep.
that only take up 1 card in your deck.
Yeah, and Return was super relevant against like the Embalm decks, and later on,
Yeah.
the Eternalized decks.
Yeah. Oh, and this stupid thing, Insult to Injury.
This card is so
Yeah.
great. I love it.
This
I'm
card,
accidentally dead.
yeah, this card was like, oh, okay, sure. You know, you read it and you're like, everyone was like, okay, so it does some damage and you can't prevent the damage. Sure. It's actually stupid. So, Insult, 2 and a red, sorcery. Damage can't be prevented this turn. If a source you control would deal damage this turn, it deals double that damage instead. And then Injury is 2 and a red for a sorcery. That's the Aftermath half. Injury deals 2 damage to target creature and 2 damage to target player. So, if you have 6 mana, You cast both. Injury deals 4 damage to a creature, 4 damage to their face, and then you turn everything sideways, and all your creatures trade up. Anything that doesn't get blocked deals huge amounts of damage to your opponent, and you've already taken out their 4 toughness blocker. This card is nuts.
And 4 toughness was real relevant in this set.
This was basically like, this was the like, I don't know how I'm gonna, this game just keeps going longer. This is gonna favor my. Oh wait, no.
I win.
Whoops, I win.
Yep.
Wow. Yeah, no, it was great. And I guess just last thing, this was the first time we saw Nissa in blue.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Look at me, I'm Jace, I'm scrying car.
Yeah. Being like, hey, this is easy. This is really easy to do, Jace.
And she's-
Why didn't you tell me about this earlier?
Well, and she's so interesting because is she the first planeswalker that is an X mana cost?
Yeah.
So you get to decide what the loyalty.
Yeah. Good on
count
turn
on
3,
her.
good on
So-
turn 12.
Yeah, Nissa, Steward of Elements, was X green-blue for an X loyalty planeswalker, which is so cool. +2, scry 2. You just scry. +2 though. So you can play Nissa for 3 mana and have her at 3 loyalty.
Yep.
Right? Like having her top ability be +2 means it makes up for the green and the blue in the mana cost. So basically your loyalty will be whatever, like it'll be the total amount of mana you paid, right? Like she passes the planeswalker
Vanilla test.
yeah, the planeswalker vanilla test. Like if you paid 5 mana and then you +2, she'll have 5 loyalty. Basically. For 0, look at the top card of your library, which you ought to know what it is if you scried last turn. If it's a land or a creature with converted mana cost less than or equal to the number of loyalty counters on Nissa, you may put it onto the battlefield. It's so good. And then sometimes you just win the game with her because at -6, untap 2 target lands you control. They become 5/5s with flying and haste. They're still lands.
Yep.
So you just cast Nissa for 8 and go, okay, I've tapped out. Now I untap these 2 and hit you in the air for 10. What up?
Yeah.
Yep.
No, she was awesome. I loved her.
I like there was a whole discussion about her playing Nissa at 2 versus playing Tybalt. There's quite a few situations where
Playing
playing
Nissa at 2, so
playing
she
Nissa
dies
at
as
2
a state-based action.
Yeah, so she dies immediately was actually better than just playing Tybalt.
Well, literally, so like you could like trigger like delirium or something like that, which was in standard.
At least
And
Nissa.
revolt.
At least
Revolt.
Nissa knows when to leave.
Yeah.
Wow.
Goddamn Tybalt. I mean, I don't.
Wow.
And, yeah, like I don't. Again, this is another set that we could talk for forever. But the one card that actually turned out to be way better than I thought it was going to be was Bounty of Luxa. I actually loved this card.
Yeah.
It was 2 for a green and a blue. And it was just really interesting because it was like it's an enchantment, and at the beginning of your pre-combat main phase, you remove all flood counters from Bounty of Luxa. If no counters were removed, put a flood counter on, and you draw a card. Otherwise, if you do remove one, you get to add 3 mana to your mana pool. So it's just kind of neat in the ramp deck because there were some pretty annoying things to ramp into, like we were saying before. The big hexproof crocodile was pretty gnarly. Honored Hydra was sweet. Like there were some big ones there. So
Yep.
yeah.
June 9th, Commander Anthology. Remember that?
Yeah. These were the tribal ones, right?
No.
Oh, the anthology.
Commander Anthology. I don't remember what decks were in this. One moment. I should have looked this up while you were talking about Bounty of the Luxa. Here we go. Heavenly Inferno, which is the Kalia of the Vast deck. Evasive Maneuvers with Derevi Imperial Tactician. Guided by Nature with Freyalise Llanowar's Fury. And Plunder the Graves with Marin of Clan Nel Toth.
Oh.
So those are from Commander and then Commander 2013, 2014, 2015, respectively. That's something else we should acquire and play a game of.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people don't like playing against Derevi, but I think they're great.
Derevi's pretty busted.
Well, I mean, you
Yeah.
you never have to pay more.
Yeah.
is the big thing, right? Like
Yeah, Derevi Imperial Tactician, which, if you recall from that episode of Friday Nights, is a
Bird Wizard.
is green, white, blue for a 2/3 bird wizard with flying. Whenever Derivi enters the battlefield or a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, you may tap or untap target permanent. That could potentially happen a lot. And then for 1 green, white, blue, put Derivi into the battlefield from the command zone. So Derivi costs 3 the first time, and then 4, and then 4, and then 4, and then 4, and then 4.
At instant speed.
Oh yeah, also
As an
that.
activated ability.
Also that, yeah. So you can't counter. Yes, you can stifle, but you can't counter magic that ability. So.
But you could, if you have a friend that runs this deck, everybody puts the pithing needle inside of their deck.
Yeah. Named Derivi.
Yeah.
I cast Derivi.
I definitely thought you were going to say if you have a friend that runs Derivi, you can just hit them.
You don't have that friend anymore.
Yeah, you can just
lean
use
across the table and feed them shots to the mouth.
Yeah, you don't put. Yeah, it's like you can use pithing needle on your friend.
Yeah.
Just you got to get it between like the vertebrae here.
Turn them around and just like right the soft place between the tendons back there. You just
Yoink them.
like
Yeah.
a frog.
and then I believe you win. I have to get a judge to confirm that. July 14th, Hour of Devastation. What's up, Ben?
I hated this set.
Really?
Okay, hate's a very strong word, but I think
Benjamin.
you should be using. But like, it
Shouldn't
actually
use such superlatives.
made the Amonkhet draft environment not fun for me. Like the decks that I enjoyed drafting were ones that like Amonkhet could make. And maybe this would have been better by either having like the Amonkhet as like the first pack that you draft, or
Yeah.
like maybe 2 packs
Yeah.
of Amonkhet and 1. But the thing was, it's like this deck had it felt like it gave you a lot of things that were like, look, so we realized that black-white, like the zombie deck is the perfect example, and I'm so high on it. But it's like it was like, look, we gave all these cool new payoffs, right? So we got like that one zombie that can make things indestructible or have like death touch and stuff like that. And we have like a couple cool other zombies, I guess, but not really. And then you had to wait to that 1 pack of Amonkhet to see if like you got any payoff in your zombie deck. Like it felt like every...
And we talked about this before. That's again why they're changing those.
Yeah.
How the sets work because of bad feels like this. Speaking of bad feels, this was interesting because you mentioned Afflict, right? So Afflict is this ability that a creature has there, or where if it's blocked, it still deals damage to the opponent, or they lose life, technically, I believe. Sure, it was such a not polarizing. I'm trying to think of the right word for it. The feels. It was so imbalanced in how you felt about it that like if you had Afflict, you were like, oh, this is great. I can just I get to keep rumbling in and doing all this damage. If you were facing down, it
Excuse me.
it felt awful.
Yeah.
Like you would be put. So like.
Oh, the Eternal.
So Paul's put Eternal of Harsh Truth on the screen, which is actually a card that I love, and I love the design of. It's 2 and a blue for a 1/3 with Afflict 2. So you attack with a 1/3. If they just let it through, you only take 1. If you block it, you take 2. But Eternal of Harsh Truths is if it attacked and isn't blocked, you also draw a card, right? So generally you want to block the Eternal, take 2 damage from it, rather than only take 1 and then let them draw a card. That was actually a super interesting design, but a lot of the Afflict creatures was just like, do you take 2 or do you take 3? Because you don't have the board to do it. And getting into a situation where you're like, I'm actually just dead.
Yeah.
Happened a lot, right?
Yeah.
Where it's like, if I block, I die. If I don't block, I die.
Yeah. I mean...
And
Yeah.
it I don't mind it, by the way. To be clear, I'm not like complaining that it's a bad mechanic. I think it's a very interesting mechanic, but generally speaking, they tried to be more balanced. Of like when you're on the giving or the receiving end of a certain sort of thing, there's less disparity in the good feels versus the bad feels. Whereas I feel like Afflict was, you felt great when you were just like, oh, this is awesome, jam.
Yeah.
I attack. I don't even care what you do. I this is the worst thing.
Yeah,
you
it's
know?
like, okay, they've resolved an afflict creature. I either resolve instant speed removal, or some kind of removal to get rid of it now, or if they get to untap with this, I die.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then it also brought in one of the scourges of Standard,
Oh yeah, right.
the old Scarab God. Mm-hmm. This thing, I mean, that's
The gods are amazing.
the god. Like I love this version of gods because they are the first ones that you don't have to fulfill a requirement to have them do things. They're just like at the worst, they're 5/5s for 5, which is like fine and limited. But then, like, the Scarab God, at the beginning of your it's 3 blue and a black for a 5/5. At the beginning of your upkeep, each opponent loses X life and you scry X, where X is the number of zombies you control, which, by the way, blue and black was a ton of Internalize and Bomb and stuff like that. And Bomb was more white, I guess, but still had a lot of that. But then for 2, a blue and a black, you can exile target creature from a graveyard and create a token copy of it, except that it's a 4/4 black zombie. And then if it ever dies, this was the whole thing with this cycle of gods, you get to put it back in your hand at the beginning of the next episode. So you had to exile it.
Yep.
Yeah, or kill it and then, well, like Never to Return would work.
Yeah.
Yep.
Kill it
Like-
and then, if you had all 7 mana right there.
Right? But you had to wait until your 1 pack of Omnigid to help you get to deal with that, right?
Brief aside, flavor-wise, I love these gods.
Yes.
They're so old, they don't have names.
Yeah.
No one knows what their names are because
Yep.
they're so old. And it's the Scarab God.
Yeah, it's a description, not a name.
What kind
Yeah,
of bugs he
right.
got? The Scorpion God.
Yeah.
The Locust God.
Also the
Hashtag Rona's face.
yeah. Also the sort of in our devastation, all the sort of the takes on the biblical plagues was pretty cool.
Yeah.
All the rivers running red and the locusts and all that. The flavor-wise, by the way, Amonkhet I think was a home run.
I also really liked how they brought out Nicol Bolas's red characteristics, because before I think Marrow had said like he's kind of red because that was the way that he was designed in Legends. They had that, and he doesn't really have red characteristics in any of his cards yet, and that's something we'd like to fix.
Yeah.
But in Hour of Devastation, in the stories, he's having a ball doing this to you.
Yeah.
He loves this. Like, he's having fun.
And then I guess just sort of looking at the cards, other notable things was Sam became a Planeswalker.
Yeah.
And she was okay. She's one of those Winmore Planeswalkers. That was kind
Also,
of the thing.
again, flavor-wise, a couple people were complaining that it's like Samet again is the like we go to a plane. There's a planeswalker from that plane who's like the local friend, and then they're never seen again.
Yeah.
Right? Like Arlen Cord was on Innistrad and then stays on Innistrad, and Saheeli Ray is on Kaladesh
Yeah.
and stays on Kaladesh. You know, it's like, oh, cool, it's a planeswalker from here,
Yeah.
and they're staying there.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Whereas when Tameo was introduced on the plane of Innistrad, people were like, what? A moon folk from Kamigawa? What? And then
Yeah.
Tameo's like shown up again, right? And Samet was like the 3rd set running where it's like, hey, it's the local friend.
Well,
Why?
that's the thing. Like, I mean, we're gonna obviously talk about Ixalan, but it's like, what are the chances of Huatli like
Never being
being
seen.
another version? Of
yeah,
this?
exactly.
Yeah. I mean, I know this is kind of like slightly off topic, and I know we want to kind of push through this, but it kind of reminds me, if you ever read like the Pendragon like novels at all, where it was just like, God, it's been forever since I've read them, but it was like different worlds that like they traveled to, kind of like planeswalking or whatever, and there was so it's like, you know, there was like an
Like
old like
sliders?
1950s world, and there was like a medieval world one, and there was always like the one person who was also a traveler between dimensions that lived in those
Right,
places and was
right.
like your local go-to person. So it very much reminds me of that kind of thing.
But yeah, it's like, what's the point of being a planeswalker if they don't actually
travel
planes
Yeah.
at all?
Yeah.
I do actually really like in both Amonkhet and Theros the like dynamic between like planeswalkers versus gods. That like gods ostensibly are more powerful within their domain, but they're stuck on their plane.
Yeah.
Whereas planeswalkers can go wherever and have a lot more flexibility.
Yeah.
And so there's, gods that want to be planeswalkers and planeswalkers that want to be gods.
Yeah. I mean, like, in Ixalan we'll get Angrath, right, in Rivals,
Yes.
who's trapped there from Theros. But
Yeah.
hopefully Watley gets to go out and do something.
Yeah, I hope so.
August 25th, Commander 2017. This one, this was what you were thinking of.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah. This was fun. We played these on stream, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
They seemed balanced.
I was like, we did, didn't we?
Yes, yeah. So it was you had the dragon deck, you had the cat deck, you had the wizards deck, and you had the vampire deck. And it was like me, Cam, Kathleen, and Adam. I loved the dragon
That's
deck.
what it was. Yeah.
Yeah.
And this was
Cat
also,
dragons.
the
the
cat
cat dragon
right?
token, yeah.
Which, like, the most disappointing part of that card was the fact that they made it Jund and not Naya, because they're like you need that white to make a cat deck.
Yeah.
And like I know obviously like Arashin, was that the name of the cat commander?
Yeah.
Yeah, was like obviously like an amazing cat commander, but I would have loved to run that that Jund cat dragon who I cannot remember the name of. Because it makes cat dragons and stuff like that whenever when your things attack and stuff. So it was like a very, very cool card that I would prefer that is like different if you were running like a Catmander deck. But
September 23rd, Ixalan.
love this set. It's my favorite one in a while.
I love the flavor
From
of
what
this set.
perspective?
In the sense that I am so big on tribal. I love it. It's my favorite sort of mechanic. So having these different tribes and like making the draft environment very much like you need to go and get these. On the flip side, it sort of killed the sealed environment, I think, because it was like if you opened your thing and you had like no tribal synergies throughout it, you were just like I'm boned. Right, but it's like in draft, you kind of find your lane and you can.
Unfortunately, because like the problem was with 4 tribes, 8 people in a pod, you're always fighting with someone.
Yeah.
Right. Hopefully, it's the person across from you. But if it's the person next to you that opened the same like go-to tribal card, you're bricked.
Yeah.
Right. And I wanted to love this set in Limited so much more than I wound up loving it.
Yeah, that's fair.
Because it's got Merfolk in blue-green. It's got pirates in Grixis. And like I even like the vampires. I even like dinosaurs.
Yeah.
Right? Like this should have been a home run and it just was out by just enough that it's like it made it that enough people didn't want to play it.
Yeah.
That like it's like when the new expansion comes out for an MMO, that just enough of your friends are like, and suddenly nothing happens, right?
I had a lot of fun drafting this set. I thought the tribal stuff was sweet, and I thought the sort of the akin to Modern Masters original, the kind of find your lane and or in some cases pick your lane and go thing was cool. Then I got busy with all the various projects that we're doing, and I didn't draft a bunch of it. Like I drafted a bunch of it right at the beginning and then didn't. And friends of mine who have continued to draft are like, this format's awful.
Really?
Yeah, they actually think this draft environment is one of the worst in a long time because of that. Because it's just like
you either get your tribe or you don't.
you get
boned.
You get your tribe and you get an amazing deck, or you don't and you're effed, or 2 people sort of go in on the same thing and both get crap decks.
Yeah,
Right.
That's fair.
And I think it was one of those things where it was fun at the beginning when people were still sort of figuring it out, but now that everyone knows what to do, it's like, oh, this is actually deeply unfun.
Yeah.
Maybe
like
it's just
there were a couple of other decks that weren't the tribal decks. Like there was a black-green explore deck
Yeah.
with a payload in like Chupa thingy.
Yeah.
But again, like if that
was a
didn't
couple-
materialize, you were bricked.
There was a couple pros trying to test. There's an upcoming limited GP for some reason, or it just happened actually, I think. And there was pros trying to get some reps in on Magic Online, and the queues just aren't firing.
Wow.
Like they were sitting there for like 40 minutes, with like 4 in the queue, and then being like, "This is stupid."
Yeah. Maybe it's just the flavor of it. Like I really enjoy it because like I remember.
Oh, I love the flavor.
Right.
Yeah.
I think the flavor's a home run.
Yeah, like Cam and I
and
were-
I had fun drafting it, but it seems like I stopped drafting it due to external reasons when it started on the downhill of the draft environment. Ended
Right.
up being not good.
Because like Cam and I were so worried. I remember us talking about this that it was going to be the like the laws to random pirates and dinosaurs, and then like next it's going to be robots or something like
ninjas
that.
and
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Or ninjas and we're just like
bacon
please don't do
tribal
that.
and
Yeah, right. But then it turned out to be completely fine
Yeah,
and fun and
yeah,
not
yeah.
like super goofy or anything. Also, Vraska's back, and I love Vraska.
Yeah.
I love like Vraska and like Taimyo, and these like kind of one-off characters that kind of come in and have like these big influences in the story are actually like my jam. I love them.
I mean, and then like, yeah, I loved playing the Merfolk deck, and sometimes I didn't get to draft the Merfolk deck, and you didn't find out that you weren't drafting the Merfolk deck until pack 2.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Also, Merfolk had like the worst sort of leader.
Yeah.
Like Vashon is awesome in Commander.
Yeah.
But not in Limited, really.
Yeah, like you draft a pretty good Merfolk deck, and your opponent resolves Vona, and you're like,
Okay.
welp.
I mean,
There's no answer to this
It'll be
in my
interesting to
colors.
see, like talking about how Hour of Devastation
Yeah,
kind of
diluted
kind of hosed
Amonkhet.
Amonkhet.
Yeah.
Maybe it'll go the other way.
Yeah,
Maybe
like,
Rivals will make up some of
it
that.
up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm really hoping. I have high hopes for Rivals of Ixalan for
All
this
right.
limited environment.
Very quick home stretch here. November 10th, dual decks: Merfolk versus Goblin, Master of Waves versus Warren Instigator.
Cool.
Both with
Also-
cool new art.
Also spoiled that we would be getting
Neat.
Silvergill Adept
Yeah.
back.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
In,
So
Rivals.
if you want to build a Merfolk deck, there's a thing for or goblins. There's handy to pick up the things you need.
Standard Merfolk, it's gonna happen.
November 17th, Iconic Masters. I don't know why this set exists. It was fun. It was a fun. We did that whole snarky episode where it was
Yeah,
like, is
iconic
this-
or not.
Yeah, is this card iconic or not?
Yeah, which
You
is
know.
really a podcast about when we started playing Magic.
Yeah, basically, it's like, do we remember these cards? That said, like, we had Modern Masters in March, and and they're doing Masters 25 next year. Did they need to just be like, hey, here's a random draft environment? Whoop! Like,
Yeah,
I think the thing that really goes to show where this ended up is the fact that I prof tweeted like the other day, booster boxes of this set are going for like $130.
yeah, like there's
Really?
there's no.
Yeah.
So secondary market wise, there's basically no value. In
I
the
mean,
set.
you've got like mana drain and stuff, but like
Basically no value.
Yeah.
But also like in Magic Online, it was online for like it felt like 2, maybe 3 weeks, and then it was just gone.
Huh.
Like I kind of wanted to play it because the thing is, it was fun. It
Yeah.
was a good draft environment. But from a business perspective, and with all the other stuff they were releasing, I don't know why it existed.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Like it
Just
came,
such a strange time of year.
yeah. I guess there's that long stretch between September and January.
Yeah,
Right
but-
between the fall set and the winter set.
But I don't think it needed to be filled.
Yeah. I mean, maybe it was an experiment.
Yeah,
Right.
yes.
Maybe they're like, we should release another set. We've got 4 months here with where the limited environment gets stable and people wind up taking maybe they have data that shows people taking long breaks.
Yeah.
Maybe they felt they needed to inject something into that.
yeah. I mean, some of the reprints were a pretty big deal, but
And then they did From the Vault Transformed.
It had
It's got flippy cards.
yeah, Delver of Secrets new art.
yeah, that
Yeah.
was probably the best part.
Yeah.
But I mean, I liked seeing the Origins Planeswalkers again. That was probably one of my favorite mechanics from Origins.
Oh,
was
yeah,
the flippy
yeah,
Planeswalkers.
yeah.
New art for Huntsmaster,
Yep.
wasn't it?
Yeah, Magali Villeneuve did art
Very,
for it.
very cool art.
Yeah.
And then even didn't they put Meld in there? They put Jazala and Bruna in it,
I want to say they did.
right?
Yeah,
Probably.
yeah.
I'm pretty sure. But
Yeah.
yeah, they did. Yeah.
Cool.
So that was the thing. I mean, a lot of people were sort of like confused because in the past it's been like necessary, like cool collectible reprints and stuff. Whereas this was just like, here's a fun mechanic. Do you love this mechanic? here you go kind of a thing, and I appreciate that.
I mean, they do one of these sets every year, so at some point they're going to start running out of ideas.
yeah,
Yeah.
You know.
But I love Transform. I am a big advocate for someday the werewolves will get a decent commander.
Yeah.
Like there is a commander and he's okay.
Yeah. But he
like,
doesn't like. Yeah, apparently Werewolf Commander just doesn't work.
No.
Because-
You need a commander or a better thing that makes it so like werewolves do not transform back to humans.
Yeah.
Even if somebody casts 2 spells, it's just something
Yeah,
like
it's
that.
like, are you in a 4-person commander pod? Did one person cast 2 spells with their 37 lands that they have in turn?
Yeah.
Womp womp.
Sucks to your,
But I mean, Huntsmaster kind of gives you benefits either way.
although the werewolves do check every upkeep. You got so many upkeeps.
That's true. You never know. I've never actually I've built the
Just
deck
so
and never
much
played it.
Flipping. And then also they, on the same day, I think, also on the 24th, at least also in November, they released the Explorers of Ixalan tabletop board game
Right.
thing with the 4 decks and the tiles. And I'm actually super pumped about this.
Yeah.
I need to get one and I want to play it on stream because
Yeah,
it looks
okay.
rad, but I haven't seen or heard anything about it.
I'd love to see what they do with this design space.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hope that I hope it is fun, and then I hope that it then succeeds and they do more with it. But it looks like it could be really cool. Also, there's some fun reprints in there. There's new art for Zealous Persecution.
I saw.
Yeah.
Zaylee P.
Yeah.
So
I mean-
it's a real card.
At the end of the day, like there were good sets and there were bad sets and there were bad products and good products and all that kind of jazz like every single year. But like at the end, it was all fun, good Magic.
Oh, it felt like a good year. Yeah,
It was
yeah,
a very
definitely.
good year for Magic. Like we got to explore, like I think we've been asking for like a cool Egyptian themed thing since like Theros
Yeah.
came around, right? Because we're like, cool Greek mythology. I'd like to see Egyptian mythology.
I
And now
also
it's like I
love-
want Norse mythology.
I also love that because of their decision to move from the three set block to the 2 set block, that and then now like mixing it up, right? Like it could be one, right? Like
Yeah.
they said that it's not actually tied down, right? Like there could be one block, one plane, one set, or 2 sets to a plane, whatever. But that we get to see more worlds, right? Like at the beginning of the podcast, I was like, yeah, so beginning of the year, Aether Revolt,
Yeah.
right? In 2017, we've been to Kaladesh, we've been to Amonkhet, we've been to Ixalan, and the ancillary product as well. And I mean, you know what I didn't talk about actually? What I forgot to write down on my list is we also
Unstable?
went to Bulgaria. Yeah, Unstable.
Unstable.
Which brought the hammer for 2017. And
Yeah.
it was outstanding.
What a
Awesome.
what an utter home run. Like
Yeah.
it was. I mean, Mark said something very similar in one of his interviews with the Tap Tap or something. But like, it was funny, right? Like it was funny. It was goofy and comedy, and there were dumb jokes and everything. But more than that, it was fun.
Yeah.
It was like the previous unsets were like, yeah, they're okay. They're they're funny. The jokes are good, but they're sure mechanically, Unstable is so much fun to play.
Yeah, and like the cards are powerful. They do things.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, you
Like
There
they
were-
do dramatic things.
Yeah, like there was no bad rare that
No.
you got really. Like there were
Yeah.
ones that you were like, oh, this isn't what I'm doing.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
in the deck that this wants to be, it's hot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Right.
can't believe I didn't write Unstable in my list. That makes Iconic Masters even stranger.
Yeah.
Now that I think about it. But Unstable. What a great. Yeah, you said the hammer. What a great hammer for 2017. To be like, all right, knock it home with Unstable, which was it's so good.
Anytime you have unstable packs, I'll come over.
Yeah, I'm very excited that Mark has said that the response, and more importantly, from a business perspective, the sales for Unstable have been so good that that definitely increases the likelihood of a future unset, like in a normal time frame, like not 10 years away, like something more
Yeah.
like maybe 4 years.
Yeah, when they've found new things to make jokes about.
Yeah, exactly.
And I also it also just feels really good to open foil tokens. Mm-hmm. What a
Oh,
great
yeah.
idea.
Yeah,
It's
it's
just
just
what a
all
great
these
idea.
little extra
Foil
things,
tokens,
the lands,
the
and
lands, everything feels really cool.
yeah, it was fun.
Anyway, so that's going to do it for our look back at 2017. It was a good year. Thanks for joining us. I don't know if we're doing a week off of this show. We'll have to look at our schedule. Because I also don't know exactly what date this episode... I don't know when you're hearing this. So
Hopefully it's before the new year.
maybe there won't actually be a break just by how the production schedule works out. But if there is, it won't be for more than a week. So we'll talk to you soon, probably in 2018. I forgot to mention at the top of the show that this is brought to you by Card Kingdom. If you check out cardkingdom.com/LRR, that'll let them know that we sent you over there. You can tell them Loading Ready Run sent me, button please, and they'll give you a little 1-inch button. And the current one, when they get it, which they should have by the time you hear this, says Powerful Magic. And also, this, as with everything we do, is brought to you by you and your kind support of our Patreon, patreon.com/LoadingReadyRun. Thanks for watching, everybody. Happy New Year. Bye.